So you found yourself with a flat tire. Today we're going to go over what tools you will need to change it and how to do it safely. A couple things to note is during this process you can be crushed, you can be injured or killed. You don't ever want to put any parts of your body underneath the vehicle without it firmly supported on jack stands. If you're working on just the jack, you definitely do not want to be underneath the vehicle. You should only work off of the jack in an emergency situation. For here, I have jack stands that I'm going to use to keep everything safe and keep the vehicle from falling. We're going to go over some of the tools that you're going to need to change a flat tire. We have a lug wrench, either a electric or manual. You're going to need a jack. If you have the availability, you're going to want jack stands, and then you will want something to chock your wheels with. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, it can just be a brick, piece of wood, something that keep the wheels from moving when you don't want them to. For the lug wrench, you can use a manual like the one you get with your vehicle, or if you have an electric impact like I do, you can use that. For your jacks, you get one with the vehicle. They're usually not the greatest, not exactly the safest either. If you have access to a floor jack like either of these are a little bit safer, a little bit better because they have a much larger base. For jack stands, there are separate sizes. This here is more for cars and lower to the ground vehicles. This is an SUV jack stand. Both of these are 3 tons. This is a 6 ton. This is going to be more for pickup trucks and things like that. That maybe a lifted vehicle. But if you have access to jack stands, those are going to be preferred as well. You're also going to need a spare tire. I have a full-size spare. Some vehicles have a what's called a donut spare. It's a smaller spare tire. Usually it's a temporary use spare. Usually it's 50 miles just to get you to someplace where you can get your tire repaired. Some vehicles actually will come with an air pump and a can of Fix-A-Flat as a spare tire. So you may want to check to see what your vehicle is equipped with. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to chock your wheel. I've already chocked my wheel with the brick. And then once you have your wheels chocked, you're going to want to jack up your vehicle. When you're putting up your vehicle on jack stands, you're going to want to make sure you find a nice flat portion of your frame or your pinch weld. You want to also make sure that there's not too much rust or any damage where it's going to push through the frame or the body. Once you have your vehicle up in the air, you're going to want to take the lug nuts off. If you're using an electric impact, you can take them off while it's in the air. If you're using a manual impact, you will have to break the lug nuts loose while it's still on the ground. Once you have all your lug nuts off, you can go ahead and remove the flat tire. Sometimes they can get rusted into place. You will just have to kick it or hit it with something hard to kind of knock it loose of the... Then you just roll a new tire in, line it up with your wheel studs. You're going to start all of your lug nuts by hand to avoid cross-threading them. When you put your lug nuts on, you always want to go in a star pattern. So you want to go across from each other. So that way it pulls the wheel on nice and straight. And then you want to get the lug nuts snugged on there, but you will do your final tightening once you got it back on the ground. Once your vehicle is back on the ground, you're going to either do your final tightening of your lug nuts with your wrench, or in my case I'm going to use a torque wrench. and set the lug nuts to the proper torque specs. If you're using just a manual wrench, you're going to want to get them as tight as you can, but you're also going to want to get them either torqued properly at a shop when you get your tire repaired or replaced. And the same thing goes for tightening your lug nuts here. You want to continue the star pattern. Now that our lug nuts are properly torqued and tightened, you can go ahead and put away all your tools and your tire, and this way you can get to a shop to get it repaired or replaced. And that is how you change a flat tire. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this saved you some money with a tow bill, and happy motoring.